Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 113, and guess what? I've got another interview for you with another one of my most beloved clients who has had so much success and has so much to share with you. I know she'll be an inspiration. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. How are you today? Good to talk to you. It's a beautiful day in St. Louis. I just love springtime so much. I know you hear me say that every single podcast, so I'll try not to say it again, but it is gorgeous. Anyway, I have just been working with so many wonderful clients. Their stories are amazing. And you know what? They're an inspiration to me. And if they're an inspiration to me, then I think I have to share them with you because I know that they will be an inspiration to you. And today is no different. I have one of my most beloved favorite clients. And I know you hear me say that all the time, but it's almost like what I think of each and every one of them. I love them. And I guess it's like, how can you not love somebody that opens up their heart and shares it with you and is open and willing to do whatever it takes to be able to take care of themselves? It is just a beautiful process. And today is no different. I'm introducing you to another one of my clients. Her name is Gyata, and she is amazing. And I know you're going to agree with me after you hear this interview, but she has had just so much success with working with me. And as you'll hear from this interview, it's so much more than just about the food, so much more. And I guess when we think about being so much more than food, one of the things for her is that she just feels free of food. She's been on this journey for a long, long time, not with me, but just the up and down of losing and gaining weight and the same stuff that all of us have been through. And I think that listening to her, you will become inspired by her story, and maybe she will help you into whatever your next step is. So enjoy the interview. And when it's over, I'll come back on and maybe say a few words about it. Enjoy. Hello, Gyata, and welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm really good, Dr. Deb. I'm excited to be on the podcast.
Well, I'm excited to have you because I have talked about you on my podcast before, and you are absolutely one of my very, very favorite clients. You know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But really, the reason I'm having you is because you have had so many awakenings and aha moments, and you have worked so hard on yourself that I think that you're going to be an inspiration to anybody that listens to this. So I think you are beautiful at expressing yourself, and I don't think there's very much I have to do to help you other than ask you a few questions. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just start with a question.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Tell me this. Why did you decide that you needed a coach to begin with?
I've been on and off struggling with my weight since I was 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
I've never gotten very, very overweight. I've always managed to bring the weight down after it went up. I've been an athlete all my life, been very active, but it was always an issue one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
After menopause, the weight started to come on and I got stuck at a certain weight. And after about a year of trying really, really hard, I stuck to a diet and got down to a weight that was acceptable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was then that I found your podcast and I started listening and I'm like, great, this is going to be it. You know, I'm going to do this, eat between the twos, and I'll be done. And that didn't happen.
Okay.
So the weight started creeping up. And then just before Christmas this year, I realized I was nearly back to where I'd been stuck for those couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, every time after every podcast, you remind us about the mini sessions. And I decided I would call you for a mini session. And that just so long as the mini session went well, I was going to hire you as a coach.
Wow. So you made your
Is that the question
decision.
you asked?
Yeah. So you actually were thinking about hiring me even before you talked to me on the mini session.
Oh yeah. I knew I needed help. I knew Christmas was up, which is a time I can gain 5-10 pounds pretty easily if I don't watch it. And I knew I couldn't do it on my own because I was listening to your podcast. The information made sense, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't eating between the twos. I was overeating every night and then going, oh my God, I did it again. I knew I needed help.
So the information made sense to you, but somehow you still kind of had a hard time applying it to your own life and to yourself.
Yeah, when I first started doing it, I was doing food journals and the like, but after a while, I wasn't following the advice. I heard it and I wanted to, but I wasn't.
Yeah, so let's go forward a little bit. We've been working together for a few months now. And
we started right in the new year.
Right at the new
January.
year. What a perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say, Gyata? Because I think you've had so many different aha moments. And what would you say, like, you know, if you were talking to somebody else about working with me, what would you say were some of the defining moments for you that helped you connect to your body in a different way than you've ever done it before?
Okay. We did 3 6-week sessions, and to me, they all had their own flavor.
Okay.
In the first 6 weeks, I think the first aha moment was when I started doing food journals every day and actually having to send them to you, which was different than just doing it for myself. I found out that I was under eating at lunchtime, middle of the day, and then overeating at night. And I felt like the under eating during the day was setting me up to want to eat more at night. And actually, I'll correct myself. As soon as I started working with you, I pretty much stopped overeating at night. I was kind of highly motivated.
Interesting. So let me ask you a question, because I remember from our mini session that you thought your biggest problem was nighttime dinners with your husband. That you felt like that's when you overate because you were having such a good time. Right. And now you're saying that as soon as we started working, you stopped doing that?
Yeah, I did stop overeating at night almost all the time.
Wow.
And then what happened is right out of the gate, when I went up to a +3, which I didn't think was such a big deal because before I'd been going to +4.5, you held me accountable for that. And in our very first session, the first 2 sessions, and this was another aha moment.
Yes.
We looked at situations where I ate to please someone else, or I thought I could please someone else. Maybe, maybe someone had cooked for me and I wasn't really hungry because I had lots of appetizers elsewhere, and I ate anyway. And you helped me to see that I don't have to eat for anyone else ever. And it's easy to say that now, but the process of uncovering that was hard. Not hard. I guess one of the surprises about the sessions that I've had with you is how you encourage me to go deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm someone who can squeeze out of a situation and move on to the next thing.
Yes, you are.
And I'm sure I'm not alone in that.
You are not.
But you just kept me on point, whatever we were talking about. And when the uncomfortable feelings came or the doubts, we just kept going. And sometimes there was emotion. Sometimes it just took hard work to kind of uncover what the kind of underlying thing was. But every time, once we got to it, it was so simple. So it's easy to say now, I never have to eat to please someone else.
Uh-huh.
But the process to get there, it absolutely needed your help. I would not have found that or seen that by myself.
Yeah, but you know what's something really interesting, because I know I really appreciate and that you're, giving a lot of credit over here to me, which I appreciate. But what I want to say is that I can point out a lot of things, but when I'm working with somebody, you were so open and ready
Mm-hmm.
to hear it that you would allow yourself to hear it. And when you talk about sending me food journals that didn't look as good as you wanted them to, if you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you did it anyway. Why did you do that? Why didn't you just not send them to me?
It has crossed my mind over times not to include something.
Yes, I know.
And then I include it.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of therapy, a lot of work on myself.
Yes.
I've done a lot of groups in the past.
Yes.
And I have learned that in a process that I'm paying for, that I want to do, that I need to follow the rules, whatever they are. You're making suggestions and we make decisions together, and I say what I want to do.
Correct.
But yeah, it's just important to follow the guidelines. And then I have to admit,
what?
Our very second call.
Yes.
Right at the beginning of the call, you said to me, "You did really well. You sent me the 3 journals you promised me in good time. And that's really important. Skill and practice is to do what you say you're going to do."
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of acknowledgement,
mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever gave it to me quite so clear again. But I had that voice in my head, like every week when I was completing my homework, that I was following the commitment I made to myself. So I did. I completed the homework every week. And that was, to me, following the rules and getting the most for my money, which it seemed like a lot. And I was gonna do my part and do my homework and look at the things I needed to look with and show up for every call. And it's been well worth it, and it's paid off because so much has changed.
Yeah. And you know what? I think as you bring that up, I think probably the most important work that we did together is that I think by learning that when you said you were going to do something, because every single time with our work together that you said you were going to do something, you followed through every single time. And I'm wondering now, do you think that you have a much more solid relationship with yourself? Do you feel like you can trust yourself now?
Oh, absolutely. I was telling you earlier today, this summer I'm taking time off from my tennis teaching work.
Yes.
And I'm going to complete a book. And it's actually a book that I started 5 years ago. And I've started many books on many different things, except from when I had a job writing years ago. I haven't completed any of them. And I'm going to do it. I know I am. And I'm going to make a plan and stick to it and not make it so big that I can't accomplish it. Mm-hmm. And it's end of August. I'm sending that book to the woman I've already set up who's going to self-publish it and print it for me. Mm-hmm. And or is there any seed of doubt? Sure, there's still a little.
Let me ask you this. Do you have more confidence in yourself now because of the work that you've done with me and honoring all your commitments to yourself? Does that make you feel more confident now about anything that you do?
I think so. I mean, the most obvious one is food. That I'm confident when I go to a restaurant that I'm going to find something nourishing to eat and walk out at a +2. That in itself, if that was all I got from this, I would be happy. But I am, as you know, we've been working on issues with sleep, and I do have confidence that I have tools to keep working on that and say I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
When we first started working, you know, one of the things that I said to you is that I thought by the end of the program that you would be able to trust yourself and have confidence around any food in any situation. Do you think that about yourself now?
That I'm 100% confident in.
And would you
And that
say,
feels so good to say.
I
that
know
feels
it.
so good to say and feel it.
I know. And I know that in the beginning, that was what you wanted the most.
Yes. Yes.
And the byproduct of all of that is, go ahead. You were going to say something.
You go ahead. I want to hear the byproduct.
Well, what I was going to say about the byproduct of all of that is that you have lost weight. You do have a much better relationship with yourself. You do seem to be able to even enjoy your life even more. And it was all around paying attention to yourself around food.
Well said.
So let me ask you this for one last question, because this is something that you and I talked about, and I think this is really important for people that are listening. How do you know that this is the last time you will ever have to lose weight again?
I feel so changed. The -2 +2 that I resonated with way back when I first heard your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a way of life. When I go above +2, which doesn't happen very often, I feel it pretty quick,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, I don't think I ever have to worry about my weight again. I'm happy where I am. You know, I'm sure I'm a couple pounds away from my goal weight, but that's kind of irrelevant. It's just feeling confident that I'm in tune with my body and have worked on and developed the tools for the places that are difficult, the times that might be difficult, so that I catch myself not to go past the +2 because it doesn't feel good.
Does it feel just natural now? A lot of people ask me that question. Will it ever become natural?
I don't know if I'm there yet.
Mm-hmm.
It still doesn't feel natural to have like meal times regular, but it feels like a good thing still to work with.
I mean, natural just in terms of eating between the twos.
It feels so easy now.
Uh-huh. That's what I mean.
So I'd have to say that feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
And what is like so new and so exciting is that when I get to -2, I don't get hungrier and hungrier.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of stay there, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I get little less hungry. I don't actually, the only time I get past -2 is that few minutes when I'm preparing whatever I'm going to eat. Then I start to feel hungry.
Interesting.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you used to be really afraid of going hungry and all of that kind of stuff, right? And now you know, yeah, and now it's just so amazing. So I just want to thank you for being on the podcast today and for being an amazing client and for working so hard on yourself. And for everybody that's listening, what I see in Gyata more than anything is that you have developed a relationship with yourself because you do what you say you're going to do. And I think that once you know that about yourself, the sky is the limit for anything.
Yeah, I feel really grateful to be at this stage. I'm 57. I could have a long, long life still. And this thing that was just kind of the thorn in my side, it's done.
Oh, I love that. I think this is a great way to end the podcast.
Okay.
It is done. So what did I tell you? She is amazing, isn't she? She really is. And she's also so good at putting her thoughts into words. But one of the things that I think most about Gyata was her commitment to herself. She really did do every piece of work I ever gave to her. She did it all. And she was willing to look at anything. And she was willing to be uncomfortable. And I think throughout that whole process of what she learned is she really did learn to trust herself, because whatever she committed to, she did it. And I think when you keep making commitments to yourself and you keep following through with them, that is where trust comes from for yourself. And I think Gyata was a perfect example of that. So I hope you loved the interview. And if you did, and if you want to do what Gyata did and you would like to start working with me, then all you have to do is go to drdebbutler.com/work with me, and you can set up a mini session and find out what it's all about. Maybe you will be the next inspiration on my podcast. What do you think about that? So think about that. And also know that I don't do many mini sessions. So if this is something that interests you, go do it. And of course, the other thing that I cannot stop this podcast without is just a small reminder that as you go through this week, no matter what, become your very own best friend. Be very, very kind to yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast with my wife, Dr. Deborah. I've enjoyed working with her and living with her. That's right, we work and live together for 40 years, more than 40 years. It's amazing how time flies. And it's been like a little tree growing in the yard, and now it's a big tree, our love. So I would like to invite you to correspond with Dr. Deborah. Go to iTunes, drdebbutler.com/iTunes. And you can review the show, and you can even give some helpful suggestions on what you would like to talk about in the future to accomplish your mindfulness and your journey into mindfulness. Thank you.